I'm welcoming you to this course of cosmic consciousness, divine consciousness, oneness with the divine, connection with your higher self, oneness with the higher self. Each of those labels can lead to a different way of approaching this. And the technique which we are about to learn in those 6 lessons of the course can be of immense value to you. It certainly can facilitate your studies of magic, what people call ESP, and also your view of life itself. And it can be, therefore, a great help in any practice that you pursue, including outright technology. Which means that the benefits of this course can reach way beyond the so-called spirituals into your everyday life, which is part of it anyway. And the technique, in principle, teaches you to achieve oneness with the divine in a very short period of time. Maybe even a few hours, if you follow it right. What follows now is important, and I'm talking about religion and technology. And you will read the course anyway. I will add some additional things which came to me meanwhile. The course has been written more than 20 years ago. So, at the dawn of mankind, religion was technology, and technology was religion. Mostly because of a lot of things that have been used. Naturally, they are considered to be supernatural. Stuff that couldn't be quite explained, and yet it worked. And to some extent, this still holds for some of the primitive, so-called primitive humans of our times, who have not yet been touched by technological advancement, nor have their senses been destroyed as a result, their additional senses, as a result of indoctrination by organized mass religion. At an early, relatively early point in human evolution, a split occurred. Things that people saw as very tangible, they considered to be technological. Things that they could touch, and a technology where they assembled things that they could touch with their hands. Where that which also worked, action at a distance for instance, which was not that tangible, belonged then to the realms of the spiritual, divine, religion, whatever. And yet the split was not as strong yet at the time being, because even the intangible was an experience. It was not an assumption, it was plain experience. Science, which developed out of the tangible approaches, attempted to discover structure and natural laws in that tangible world, while, on the other hand, the other evolution, the metaphysical system beyond physical, beyond scientific, or whatever you call it, technologies, systems, and theologies, I call it a technology anyway, attempted to describe that which is going on in the world that is not so tangible. Theologies too. Things that they cannot explain. And if it cannot be explained, if you cannot grab it, if you cannot handle it, oh well, then a spirit does the work. either for you, if you develop a technology, you control the spirit, or against you, or independently from you, such as thunder and lightning. The more the scientific thinking advanced in recent times, the more things that were supposed to be tangible, according to science, turned out not to be that tangible after all. And at the same time, new scientific systems developed which began to probe into the many worlds of the things perceived first as intangible or psychic. The seemingly sharp demarcation between that which is religious, psychic, extrasensory on the one hand, and that which is technological, perceivable with the five senses, as academia accepts them. And I hate to use the term scientific for that narrow-minded thinking, proved to be more and more arbitrary. This sharp demarcation, border between it, if not illusionary. On the other hand, researchers on the metaphysical side became increasingly aware of the usefulness of scientific thinking, scientific models, and also of scientific rigor. It was a long time for that. And many of the metaphysicists of our times, however, are not yet fully aware of the usefulness of such a development. Most of them are still exhibiting a total lack of scientific training. They are using those alternative verbiage as, what do you call it, nanotechnological, quantum matrix approach and so on. Some even go so far as to carry a hostility against science, against scientific thinking, against scientific methods. And sadly enough, it is scientific half-wits or quarter-wits, I don't even call them half-wits, which control much of the metaphysical thinking of our times. And the time for change is more than necessary. It's extremely necessary. We have to do it. And this is so because increasingly people open up to the fact that things spiritual or psychic, as they call it, extrasensory, are as valid as things that are tangible with the hands and technological. In fact, that the two are inseparable in some ways. There is not a body and a soul. It's a combo. It's a oneness. And partly you can learn to unify that in this course. Just use different systems, not just the four elements, just use body, soul, spirit, mind, and so on. And we have to come to the conclusion, to the acceptance of the fact that spiritual or inner reality, which is independent of or in contrast to an outer or scientific reality, simply doesn't exist. Both realities coexist. And again, psychic technologies and spiritual advancements, as well as material technologies, can be considered to be the facets of one and the same evolutionary process. For humans to achieve their fullest evolutionary potential, they have to include both technologies. And the result of such a development is an all-inclusive technology or a technological metaphysics, metaphysical technology, whatever you call it. And this is a discipline which can be the way to interact with all accessible levels of consciousness or existence. It is interaction with the inner and outer environments which reaches from the material planes all the way to the realms of energies of a higher order, spirits, whatever you call it, or energies of the realms of creation. Talk about the runes. Look into those. The 18 as I teach them. We are at the threshold of an all-encompassing and true, call it magic or call it technology.